So we have these two types, right? Faculty progress reports and academic alerts. So I wanted to kind of go through what these look like on your computers. So when you get a progress report request from an advisor or from your school or from a program, you will get an email, and it will just say request for progress report or something of that nature. Student feedback request is the one that I got last. You click on the link. It takes you to your login. You put in your UW-Net ID and log in, right? And it'll open up a kind of large chart. I can't pull up an actual current chart right now because the quarter hasn't started. And so there's no students listed. So this is one from the Navigate's website. So it doesn't look exactly like the UW Bothell version of it, but roughly this is what it looks like, right? So it'll give you a place to put in alert reasons, to enter some comments. And when you submit this, at the very bottom of the page, there'll be two ways to submit. One is to submit only the students that you have marked an alert for, and then you can come back later and submit things for other students. Or you can say, you know what, I only wanted to submit an alert on student number 2 and 3. I'm all done, everyone else is fine. I don't need to enter anything for anyone else. I'm gonna submit that I'm all done. Unmarked students are not at risk, right? So there's two ways you can do it. One is kind of like a partial submit. You can come back in, submit more if you want. And the second way is, yep, I'm good. I finished my progress report, done. Academic alerts are very similar. You have to actually, you have to go to this website, uwb.campus.eab.com, and log in with your net ID. And you'll come to this kind of professor home screen. And in there, there's an issue and alert link on the far right under actions. Click on that, and it will pull up this little kind of pop-up academic alert form. And you'll be able to kind of type in your student's name, and it will autofill their name. And you can select one or more of these reasons, these alert reasons. And then there's a place for additional comments, right? So as I mentioned before, for things like notable achievement, make sure you put the actual notable achievement in the additional comments. Otherwise, it's just going to say notable achievement, and that's all the advisor will see. Before you submit an academic alert, it's best practice to tell your student, well, first reach out to your student and say, hey, I'm seeing you're missing classes. Can I help? And then if that's fails, or you still feel you need to reach out to an advisor, it's a good idea in most cases, and I leave it up to you obviously, but to notify the student that, hey, I reached out to the advising team, you may hear from them, right? Just so they don't feel like you're kind of going behind their back and reporting them to different people. Just kind of keep them in the loop so they know that you're concerned, and you're so concerned you want to loop in other people to help them out. Another note to mention is that when you submit an academic alert, you can and you should, in various cases, use multiple alert reasons. And doing so will actually escalate or give you levels or gradations of how serious the alert is, right? So for example, if you enter a participation or attendance report, it's just gonna add a note to the student's file, right? So an advisor may never see this participation or attendance report. But if it's so serious, you've entered a participation report almost every week now, right? They consistently fail to show up, or they come for 5 minutes and then leave and never come back. That's a case where you might want to escalate it to an advisor. So you can also click on the at risk to fail advisor intervention requested, right? And so now you have two alerts selected. The advisor will now be, a case will be opened, and they'll see from the other alerts you've concluded in this report what the issue is, right? And another way you can do it is you can ask for an advisor phone call. Well, we've changed the name of that, by the way, to advisor phone call to faculty requested. That's not going to be an advisor calling the student, that's an advisor calling you, right? Another thing to notice is when you fill out an alert, that comment field, right? The additional comment field, um, you don't have to put an essay in there. So keep it concise, but keep it meaningful, right? So if it's a participation attendance report, say how many times they've missed class, right? If it's low assessment, say, what they failed or what kind of grade they need to get on the next thing, and so on, right? So give information and context to the advisor. So when they reach out to the student, they can kind of talk to the student about what steps need to be taken next.